Welcome in, new viewers. Welcome back to returning viewers. Again, I am your host for season, spelled Ivsznz. And this is a space curated by us all to be open and honest and vulnerable surrounding topics of mental health, relationships, self esteem, goal setting and goal achieving, as well as accountability. So we welcome you guys here to do that, to be vulnerable about those things. So a lot of our topics are going to surround that. So just be open, right? What's up, a wise dream? Thank you for coming in, my brother. I appreciate it. So, how we feeling? How we feeling today? What's on our minds? What's the zhuzh? For me today, I'm feeling pretty good. Uh, this marks day 8 of the fast I am participating in with my church, and it has been pretty amazing. It has not been the easiest, but it's been pretty amazing. I am more conscious of what I'm doing and how that affects God. I'm starting to put in my mind before I do something, does it serve God or am I serving my flesh, right? And it's not been the easiest at all. It has not, but it has definitely paid off. One big thing that I'd say has happened since last week to today, I have lost 14 pounds, so 2 pounds a day, doing this fast. I've been juicing, I've been eating nothing but fruits and vegetables. I do rice and eggs, right? But aside from that, it's just fruits and vegetables. And like I said, I've been juicing. And so I made a juice yesterday or 2 days ago that had apples, cucumbers, ginger, all of those things in it, and was really good. Carrots. What's up, Chiron 2026? Thank you for the follow. We appreciate it over here. But yes, I have been juicing. I have been eating vegetables. I've been eating salads. I have been doing more cardio, being more active. I've also been fasting from pornography and self-pleasure, right? I've also been fasting from weed. I have not smoked weed. Um, and when I tell you, this has been hard, but so worth it. And I feel so good. I am really doing my best to become in alignment, body, mental, emotions, spiritually with God, being in alignment. So I'm excited for this next chapter of my life. And like my clothes already are fitting looser, I got room in my stuff now. I'm also cutting back on cursing. So if y'all catch me cursing today, just call me out on it because I'm trying to work on it. But things are changing for me. And I'm just being more obedient and disciplined to God's word. Okay, so yes. Yeah, this fast has been eye-opening and life-changing for me. And I'm just so excited. I'm more into the word. I'm just doing a lot of things to push myself in the direction that God needs me to go, right? Not saying temptation's not out there. And when I tell you I've been tempted through so many things during this fast, and I'd be like, you know what, I could. But what has changed for me, I would say, is the moment before taking that action, right? I'm more like, okay, is it aligned with God? Is it gonna mess up how I feel about my fast? Am I doing things wrong? And then I make my decision after that. And usually I fall back into what I'm doing now, and that's, abstaining from certain things. So yeah, I feel pretty good about that. I feel not pretty good. I feel really good about that. A wise dream says the change is crazy. Chiron says, "Hey, come on, 15 pounds. Come on, say that." Oh damn, amen. Proud of you. Oh darn. See, I got. Thank you. Thank you, bro. I really appreciate it. I really do. But I'm feeling really good now. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. These headaches from not eating meat, sugars, or bread have been so painful. Tylenol at night has been my friend. And I'm managing. You know, with it being the second week, the headaches are not as bad and they're not as often as they were the first week. The first week was a mess. First week was a mess. I was just over it. I would take naps just to get over the headaches, just to not feel that stuff, right? But where I'm at now, I'm just in a good mindset. I'm in a good headspace. I'm good physically, right? So, yeah. So, I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you guys are having a great Thursday morning, noon, or night, wherever it is, wherever you are, right? So, let us get into our favorite, one of our favorite things here on the podcast. Let me see. Is it this? Yes. Okay, perfect. So, our favorite thing here, let me move my little picture. Put me down at the bottom. There we go. Okay, so what we have here, what we do here, our check-in, a part of our check-in is called the line dynamic, right? So, as you guys can see, there's different tiers to the line dynamic, right? So, if you're above the line, obviously by the emojis, that means you're in a good headspace. You're in a good mindset. Things are great. You're feeling positive. You're feeling energized. You're feeling refreshed. You're ready to take on whatever, life has for us. And I think that's a space where we all try to hit. We try to be above the line. But life does what it does, and we always cannot always make it up to that point, right? And sometimes when we're above the line, we may have that extra to give to those who are not above the line with us, who may be struggling, and sometimes they need that extra support to help them get higher than where they're currently at, right? So being above the line is something that I aim to be at. I tend to be my happiest when I'm above the line, obviously. And, that's the goal throughout the day, right? Is to be above the line. Our second tier is being on the line. And by the emojis, it just means you're okay. It doesn't mean you're amazing, and it doesn't mean you're horrible. It just means you're okay. And being okay sometimes is all you really need. It's all you really can muster up in that moment, right? Just being okay. And for me, being on the line and just being okay, being stable, is something that, with how the world is going right now, is I think it's people's constant. People are constantly just okay. We're just riding this wave and just hoping that everything works out. We're buckled in. We're just on this ride. We're just okay. And being okay, for me, when I can't reach being above the line, is the place that I try to reach for. I try to just be content. And last but definitely not least is our final tier of the line dynamic, which means we're below. And as you guys can see by the emojis at the bottom, they're not the great. Being below the line means things aren't great. Things are bad in our mind. We may feel that things are bad in our mind, or things can't get any worse. They can. But when we're so far below the line, we can't even see that. We just acknowledge where we're at. We see what we see in front of us, where we're at, what we're surrounded by. And for me, whenever I am below the line, I do a few things, if it's something that I know I can manage on my own, which is rare, I tend to sit in it for a while, right? I tend to use that time to reflect where I'm at, what happened, what I did to contribute to me being so far below the line, and just sitting in not wanting to ever feel this low again, right? And then after I do that, when I feel like I'm at a place where me reaching out to people isn't going to cause them more harm than good, because I believe sometimes when we're so far below the line or in our mess, we can infect or poison or cloud those around us. So that's why I try to take that time for myself whenever I feel like yucky and I know that my actions are not going to be a representative of how I truly feel. I spend time with myself into understanding those emotions and feelings. And then only after that is when I reach out to my support system, And your support system can look however it is, for you. For me, my support system consists of my family, my friends, professional help, so like my therapist, and last but definitely not least, God and my spiritual family, my church family, and my spiritual leaders, right? And so when I am so far below the line, I spend time with myself to analyze what's going on. I then reach out to all of those things at once because I know that something out of that is going to build me up. It's going to push me to where I need to be, closer to the line. I may still be a little bit below, tongue twister. I still may be a little bit below the line, but I know that my support system and the things that are in place in my life right now are going to do what's necessary to push me a little closer to being on that line, or even shoot me all the way up above it, So, with that being said, with that explanation of the line dynamic out of the way, where are you guys at on the line tonight? Where are you guys feeling? Where do you guys feel that you guys have landed today? All right, so how are we feeling? How am I feeling today? Where am I at? I would wholeheartedly say I'm above the line today. Yeah, I'm above the line today, without a doubt. No questions that. I know I had a little bit of hesitation in that, but no, I am definitely above the line. I'm just thankful, that God has allowed me to be present, to continue to do the streaming thing and continue to pour not only into you guys, but into myself, right? Me doing this is me being accountable for myself. It's me standing up for myself, putting all those negative, nasty inner monologue thoughts away and just doing, right? So yeah, I am very much above the line, and I'm thankful that I'm here to be able to share that with you guys. I'm thankful for my electricity being paid for. I'm thankful for my internet. I'm thankful for my 2 feet that I'm able to stand up and be here with y'all. My legs, my arms, my whole body, my hair, my voice, my ears, my eyes, my cheekbones, because they up today. I am very, very much above the line today. I am. So I pray that maybe this energy, can, resonate with you guys, and you guys can take it and maybe push yourself a little higher than where you are. Or you can above the line with me. Hey, we out here chilling, But yes, that's where I'm at today. A Wise Dream says, feeling a little below the line this week. A lot of stuff has been annoying with some work and family stuff, but for the most part, we're still thriving. Say that. We're still thriving. And the things that, are happening right now are just happening for the moment, bro. I'm happy that you're here. I'm happy that you're present. I'm happy that God has kept you here, through another week. Work and family stuff gonna be work and family stuff, bro. Just take it as take it a day at a time, and just be present, and I'm thankful that you show up, and still a good person, because life be lifing and life be throwing curveballs at us, but we still are here. We're still thriving, and we're still present. So shout outs to you for that, my brother. I do appreciate that. Okay, so we have the line dynamic out of the way. We're going to move on to the word of the week. And as I already put in the chat, WOTW will give you the word of the week today. And as you guys can see, the word of the week is ready. So what are you guys' first thoughts when you see or hear the word ready? All right, y'all, what are our first thoughts when we see or hear the word ready? So for me, first thing that comes to mind is like racing. They say ready, set, go. Like it's a 3-part thing, right? You're ready, you're getting set up to go, and then you go. So that's the first thing that comes to mind. I also think of games, especially games where you're playing with other people. You have to ready up, that's another thing, because you have to ready up. And if everybody isn't ready, that's on your team, you guys cannot commence whatever is about to happen. Whatever you're about to tackle, you can't start it until everybody readies up, right? What else do I think of? I think of this song called, let me see if I can find it. called "Are You Ready" by Blanca. It's a Christian R&B kind of vibe, and it's really dope. It's really dope. I have started to really dive into Christian music, and Christian music of today's date, right? So of this generation, and it is surprising me. I've found quite a few songs. I have a playlist curated on Spotify of a lot of songs that I have recently discovered that cover that, and I'm starting to listen to less and less more secular music. Because I know for me, listening to a lot of I listen to a lot of R&B, right? And a lot of R&B, not gonna lie, it's depressing. It's sad. It's heartbreak. And it's not uplifting. I want to be uplifted. I want to feel good. And I'm intentionally listening to things that are going to do that for me. Not saying secular music doesn't have things that lift you up, right? But the type of music that I would listen to was not of that. It was not. It was, oh, I want this person back. Oh, I'm depressed that they left me. Oh, I want this. I want that. I'm sad. Can't do that because I was living that. And when you're, and it's so interesting when you're living some of these lyrics that people are singing in these songs, you like, I don't like this. I don't like how this feels. I don't like singing about being depressed and having anxiety and not being mindful, but I don't want to sing about that. I don't want to hear that. I want to hear things that are going to take me out of those mindsets, right? And so that's what I've been focusing on as of late, is listening to more music that uplifts, that inspires, that motivates, that pushes me to continue to move forward, not wallow in my sorrows. While I also believe, sometimes you got to sit in your stuff, sit in your stuff, smell your stuff. I'm using stuff as a replacement for a word that I can't say, but you can't just stay in it. Take a moment to sit in it, and then after that, move on from it. We are not, whatever we're going through is not our final destination, right? It is just our current situation, right? Ooh, hold on. What we are going through is not our final destination. It's just our current situation. Bars. So, yes. Yeah, with all that saying, all those are things explaining my first thoughts with Ready, right? A wise dream says, prepared for what the world throws at us. Ready. Say that, bro. Being prepared for what the world throws at us, And I'm excited to really dive into the topic tonight because I have some examples. I got a video. I got, I'm ready, right? I am ready to share and dive into the topic tonight with you guys. I'm prepared. So, with our first thoughts out the window, we've thrown them out there. Let's move into what clear-cut definitions are for the word ready, right? So, courtesy of Merriam-Webster's and them niggas, ready is in a suitable state for an activity, action, or situation, fully prepared. That's kind of what Wise was saying. So you on the right track, my brother. You are. Another definition for ready is prepared mentally or physically for some experience or action. We are all in the same ballpark when we see the word ready, right? So, I got my camera. Hold on. I got y'all. We just go. There we go. So again, prepared mentally or physically for some experience or action. So, with that being said, let us just dive into it today. Change my scene. All right, y'all. So, with the definition laid out, with our first thoughts laid out, right? Let's dive into it. And so, what we do here on the Four Seasons with Four Seasons podcast, we tend to break things down into 4 different seasons. Ha ha ha. But before we dive into it, I just want to let you guys know the theme of this month. So a lot of the things that we're going to be talking about this month are in the theme of the start of something new. That is what the theme of the month is. The start of something new. It's the first month of the year. the second week of the year as well. Was it the second week? Where we at? You know. And so that's where we're at, right? And so everything we're going to talk about this month is in the lens or scope of the start of something new. So let us move into understanding the 4 seasons of understanding, right? We're going to use the word ready, our word of the week, in each of these 4 seasons. So first season that we talk about is mental, our mental season, right? And how does ready work into that? So being prepared mentally, being able to have clear-cut information on the task at hand. When I think of that, I think of an example that I'm giving is growing up in school. If y'all are around the same age as me, I'm 35, don't look it, but I'm 35. And in elementary school, I would say my first dose of anxiety really was not from other people, was not from other situations, but specifically one thing we did once a week in class, and it was called time test. And if you guys are familiar with what time tests are, you got a sheet of paper, right? And you have problems. Specific, sometimes it'd be multiplication or division, right? And they would give you, I think it's 60 seconds to fill out as many or work out as many of those problems as you can. So ultimately filling up the sheet with the correct answer, the correct answer, right? Into these boxes. And I would say it's probably like maybe like 50 different problems, which was just so anxiety ridden, guys. When I tell you the stress I would get. And the thing is, I was so stressed because math was never my strong suit, which is odd because my strong suit in elementary school and most of schooling was science. I love science. I loved it. But math just stressed me out. I was frustrated and I didn't get it. Crazy thing is, my mother's a math teacher, right? So all this comes into play on my journey of my anxiety with time test, right? Always I always got stuck looking at the problems more so than actually figuring them out, because hey, if you don't know how to figure out, how you gonna come up with the answer, right? You just guess, so I would get stuck on the problems that I wouldn't know, and then I would ignore the ones that I did, right? The easy ones were the zeros, obviously, because you just go straight down and do 0, 0, 0. Anything, is 0, right? And so with my mother being a math teacher, she helped me. She helped me tremendously. We looked at patterns and sequences more so than actual number problem answer, I guess, if that makes sense. We also highlighted the problems I could do, right? The ones that I knew with the back of my hand. One cute little trick that she taught me with multiplications of my nines is just use your hands, right? And then, okay. So the trick was, my hand's a little ashy. Ignore me. Put down a finger. Wait. Okay. So multiples of 9, right? 9 times 1, I got 9 fingers. 9 times 2, come on. Y'all see that? 3, you just put down a finger. And then anything to, I guess the camera's mixed up, but anything to the left of your finger that you're putting down, that's what you're multiplying by. So anything to the left of that is by 10, and anything to the right of that is by 1. So 9 times 2, we see that? Wait, am I doing this right? I'm so backwards. Okay, I have to do it this way. So 9 times 2, we see that, times 3, times 4, times 5, 45, 6, 7, 8, 9, right? And once I got that down, because nines was hard, because nines are big numbers, right? And so, especially as a child at elementary school struggling with math, nines are number. Like, I don't know how to do this, right? But my mom taught me that. She taught me other little tricks to not get stuck, right? And so once I started practicing this more and more, once after all that preparation, I was ready. Time tests were never an issue for me after that. Okay, teachers were hating because they saw my little trick and they told me I couldn't do it because it's like, why are you hating? Why are you, if I'm finding a way to do this and it works, what's the problem, right? And so they would hate. They would hate. But I still did it because my mama told me I could, and it helped me. So yeah, after that, I was ready. I was prepared. My anxiety was gone. My confidence was regained. And I had a better understanding of what it takes for me to get through something mentally straining me, right? So that is the season of mental for ready for me. Season 2, we are moving into being physically ready, being prepared physically. So for this one, I have two examples. A loose first one's a very kind of loose example, but getting ready to go out, with your friends, your significant other, etc. Right? You're ready, and that means you're fully dressed. You got whatever you need to go out the door. You got your items, you got your bags, you got whatever you need that is going to help you be on your way to the destination that you're going. Getting ready, you're ready, you're prepared for that next step, moving towards that next step in that process, right? Leaving, which is leaving. However, those are the people that you're going out with. They're not ready. They're not even dressed. They don't have what they're taking. They're not in the right place or the mindset to move on to that next step, to move forward to that next step. They're not ready. They're not prepared. Another example I have is learning to swim. I have always had a big affinity with water. I love swimming. I love being at beaches. I love being at pools. Even though I may have not always had the body for it, hey, I loved it regardless. But when we're learning to swim, right, there's there's necessary techniques that are involved for you to stay afloat. You keeping afloat, holding your breath, and being able to move or tread water, right? And these things are taught. Some people are innately, know what to do in those situations, but majority of people are taught these things, right? And after you're taught all these things, you're ready. And well, after you're being taught and consistently practicing these things, you're ready to actually swim. You're ready to maybe even go deeper into the deep end, where it doesn't have all those safety nets for you to grab onto or grasp at, because you don't need those, because you know how to stay afloat. You know how to kick your feet. You know how to kick your feet. You know how to stay afloat. You know how to do those things, right? You are ready. So that's the physical season of being ready. A third season is being emotionally ready, being prepared emotionally for what's to come. So I have an example for that. Moving on from one relationship to the next. If time hasn't been spent to address and tackle the emotions that came from previous relationships, those things will spill over into the next one, without a doubt. If you have not addressed, if you have not spent time or sat, like I say, sit in our stuff for a while and acknowledge what we did to attribute to what's going on around us, we're not able to move forward. And if we do choose to move forward without addressing those things, we will pull all that baggage, all that negativity, all that poison, all that vitriol onto somebody else who may not have anything to do with our past selves, right? While we may be wanting to move on to someone else, we could be causing the new person added stress, added trauma, added insecurities, based on us not taking the time out to acknowledge and grow from what we have been through. Being emotionally ready, in this example, for me, I believe, looks like taking time for yourself to rediscover who you are, what you want, and where you're going without being attached to someone else. I know people who jump from relationship to relationship. Excuse me. Yeah, I know people who jump from relationship to relationship. Reasoning sometimes they just can't stand to be alone with themselves. They can't stand to just not have someone there with them or attached to them. I'm trying to think, have I experienced anything like that? In friendships, I wouldn't say romantic relationships, but in friendships, I have had anxious attachment. And that's something me and my therapist dove into a little bit. Is holding on to things that may be better if you let go, but the fear of being by yourself, the fear of all those things coming up, is what prevents us from actually being by ourselves and sitting in that mess, right? So yeah, that's the season of being emotionally ready for me, right? And last but definitely not least is season 4, which is the season of spirituality, being spiritually prepared for what's to come. So an example I have for that, I was someone who was formerly, I'm saying formerly because I'm claiming it. It's not something I actively do now, but it's something that I did in the past. Formerly, I was triggered by others' actions and words, and that would lead to me to overthink. It would lead me to feel insecure or wallow in my current low emotional state, right? For me, getting in tuned with God, church, and the word has allowed me to not focus on those things as much anymore. I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect. We slip, we fall, we have mess ups. That's just how it is. God gives us grace and he's already forgiven us, right? And so I have learned to do new things when it comes to being put in those situations. Because people get triggered, people say things that do not align with us. And our reaction is all we really have control over. They gonna do and say what they gonna say, but how we react to it is the power that we have. So for me, if I'm met with negativity, discomfort, anger, or anything that is designed for me to waver, I give it to God. And then I move on to something else that I know for me is going to build me up. I let it go, I give it to God, I pray on it, and then I move on. Sometimes I just sit in it, to analyze what is going, and in me sitting in that mess, sometimes I'm talking to God. I'm praying to God to give me clarity of understanding of what's going on with me. And yeah, that's where I'm at. And so I don't hold on to a lot of negative things anymore. I can't afford to. I have to continue moving forward in my life, living with God in my heart, giving out love and care and my thoughts and opinions to people, right? So that is where we're at with being spiritually ready. And so I'm ready to take on new things that may in the past would have caused me to waver, would have caused me to overthink. Because I'm equipped and prepared now, I'm ready, spiritually ready for these attacks that are coming at me. Because it's just life. We're going to be attacked. But with that being said, we have moved into our wrap up of the evening. So just a recap of the topic, which was ready, the word of the week, ready. Mentally training oneself to be able to solve problems easier than before. Physically practicing something to be able to execute it without issue. Taking time to understand your current emotions before moving to the next step. And last but definitely not least, giving the tough stuff to God, giving it all to God, and allowing him to work it out for us. So that was our little recap. What we also do here is our know for sure segment. So what that means is, what do I know is for sure after this episode, from the beginning of the episode to where we're at now? What do I know for sure? I know for sure that God is preparing me in this moment for something amazing. I'm doing a lot of fasting. I'm doing a lot of reading the word. I'm leaning into my church. And I know for sure that he is getting me ready for something. He is getting me prepared for something. And I'm open and accepting all of it, right? So that is what I know for sure. Just a few news, upcoming events for you guys. I have transitioned into a new career field of being a life coach. If you do exclamation mark coach, you guys get a little information of that. With the start of the year in progress, I'm opening a program called Through the Seasons, which is a small 4-week coaching experience for people who feel unseen, emotionally stuck, or in between chapters and want a space to be heard and find clarity. I'm not here to fix anybody. I'm just here to walk with you through whatever season you're at right now, right? So if that's something that you're interested in, I'm looking for about 4 or 5 people to do this first session just to see how it works. Everything is completely free for this session. I just need feedback. That's all I'm looking for is feedback. So if that's something you're interested in, go ahead and DM me here or email me at fourseasons@gmail.com and we can move on the conversation from there. Next, I do have a co-working stream that I do every Saturday at 11 a.m. EST here on this channel. And what a co-working stream is where we promote accountability. We promote goal completion and we have a sense of community. So if there's things that you have to do that you know you may not want to do or you may need some accountability partners to get it done, come here, come in the chat, put it in the chat because we're all doing something that we need to do. Cleaning up, taking care of bills, working, reading, whatever it is that you may struggle with doing on your own, come and do it with us. We got you. We got accountability. We do it in a Pomodori sense or Pomodori fashion, which means we take a chunk of time where we work, and then after that time is up, we spend a small chunk of time just taking a break. And during that break, we have this game called Words on Stream that we play. So if you know how to play Scrabble or World Scramble or something like that, come join us and be an elite member of helping us get to the next levels of that. So as I said, what we do is spend a little bit of time working, take a quick break, and then we go back to working. And for the co-working sessions, I usually go about like 3 hours. So, you can come in whenever it's happening and just get some stuff done. So that is that. Let me plug my Discord. If you guys want to stay in the loop with notifications, with coaching sessions, announcements, or just want to connect with the Four Seasons community, go ahead and join that Discord. I also have a YouTube channel where all of my lives for this season 3 are going to go up, edited, broken down a little bit, broken down in bite-sized chunks, right? So, but the whole podcast will be there. It'll just cut out some of the things that aren't really needed, right? So go ahead, join there, subscribe, youtube.com/the Four Seasons. Last but not least, I want to thank everybody for coming out and being part of the podcast, being part of the stream, just being present. Shout outs to the followers, the subscribers, the lurkers, and everybody in between. I thank you guys so much. Thank you to the Four Seasons community because y'all keep me going. So yeah, thank you to everybody. And with that being said, one second. Yeah, with that being said, be good to yourselves and be good to others, and I will see you guys later. Bye.